724-9733 or 0803-471-8550 for details. CoreTV News, expanding your view.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is CoreTV.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Hello and welcome to the news at 4 with me, Michael North. The Independent National Electoral Commission has refused to shift ground on its earlier decision to stop the All Progressives Congress from presenting candidates for the Zamfara elections come 2019. INEC, which had earlier said it would release the final lists of governorship and state assembly candidates on Thursday, however, said the status quo remained unchanged. The Commission made the clarification on a statement issued on Wednesday night by its national commissioners and chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye. As 2019 general elections draw closer, the National Broadcasting Commission has warned broadcasting stations in the country against airing hate speeches, and anyone found guilty, stiff penalties await and any radio or television station that indulges in such an act. NBC Managing Director Mobibo Ishak Kau said this during a press briefing in Abuja. Details in this report.
It is about 16 days to the 2019 elections, and all stakeholders, including the National Broadcasting Commission, are making efforts to ensure violence-free and successful polls.
We hope that all the broadcast outfits will get copies and not just keep them in the offices of the general managers, but ensure that they are properly disseminated, especially for their presenters, their news and current affairs people, and their producers, so that everybody actually understands that this is the guiding instrument for broadcasting in the country.
The National Broadcasting Commission condemns the rampant cases of hate speeches and campaigns by some media organizations, adding that NBC is committed to engendering national peace and unity through broadcasting. The DG of the Commission says it will not hesitate to clamp down on any broadcasting station that violates the ethics of broadcasting, noting that hate speeches are not part of the democratic process in any civilized society.
We told our licensees that it's very good to make a lot of money during this period, but you would be liable if you allow your medium to be used to broadcast material that is contrary to the Nigeria Broadcasting Code.
The Commission also discloses plans to deliver about 5,000 sets of digital switchover boxes to public institutions, police stations, hospitals, military formations, and House of Assemblies nationwide.
You cannot allow your platform to be used to broadcast indecent language, to do hate speech. If you have to take them out, you probably have to take them out. Because while we do not have the power to regulate the political parties and politicians, we have the power to regulate the broadcaster. So the broadcaster needs to interact with the customer, potential customer, to point out areas where you cannot allow them to be on air. That is all I can tell you about that. It's not my duty to tell you how to make them talk. My own duty is to remind you that you have responsibilities to the Nigerian people.
It is expected that the Commission's commitment to create a national digital economy would strengthen the nation's democracy and free press. Folonsho Adegoke, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has said if elected into office, his government will consider amnesty for looters. He said such a method would be more productive in recovering looted funds, adding that such recovered funds would be invested in the country to create jobs, improve insecurity, and grow the economy. Abubakar spoke on Wednesday during a town hall meeting tagged the candidates. Atiku featured alongside his running mate, Peter Obi. The former vice president had said adopting amnesty for looters had been helping Turkey, adding that such method is better than for an alleged corrupt people joining a ruling party and be shielded from prosecution. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has described the avowed integrity and moral uprightness of President Muhammadu Buhari as fake. The former president, who was speaking at the quarterly business lecture of the Island Club in Lagos, said former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is the man for the job of taking Nigeria out of the doldrums. Details in this report.
The moment the former President Olusegun Obasanjo and his former deputy Atiku Abubakar embraced, symbolizing the final settlement of all hostilities. The former president, who arrived at the Island Club during the quarterly business lecture delivered by Atiku Abubakar, said the former vice president is no saint and has never claimed to be one. He said this is in stark contrast to the avowed integrity and moral uprightness of President Buhari, which he described as a fake veneer designed to deceive and plunder.
Incorruptibility, when you have corruption in your nose. Uprightness, when everything around you is crooked. Goodness and false figures and statistics, all of which are contrived to deceive, to cheat, to plunder, and to destroy. Atiku never claimed to be a saint. Have you ever claimed to be a saint?
He added that whatever Atiku Abubakar had done in the past against him is forgiven without any reservations. He said that this is in line with the tenet of his Christian belief, urging whoever has issues with his decision to query God.
I was not absent from home for 104 days at a time. People may not know that Atiku actually stood in for me whenever I was out. Mr. Chairman, my dear senior brother, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have a man who has what it takes in experience, in exposure, in lessons that he has learned. And he has learned his lessons. I tried to teach him a few of them.
For his part, the former vice president in his lecture tagged my vision to get Nigeria working again laid down what he said is the roadmap to national development and shared inclusive prosperity. He said if he's elected as president, he will create the enabling environment for the private sector to create 3 million jobs annually.
Nigerians must reject the status quo and bring in a leader who has a history of economic reform and political transformation. Nigeria needs a leader who shares its hopes and aspirations, who understands the complexities of the development process, and who has the capacity to articulate an acceptable notion of development. It requires strong commitment, bold initiatives, and a discernible shift from the mistakes of the past.
Chairman of the club, Olabanji Oladapo, in his welcome address said the club will always provide a platform for the sharing of ideas to enhance national development.
A group of protesters have stormed the Lagos State House of Assembly to demand that a stop be put to the alleged impeachment moves against the governor, Akinwumi Ambode. The group, under the aegis of the Lagos People's Assembly, said the governor has done well and should be allowed to finish his term in office. A member of the House, Sinai Ogunbiade, who spoke to the protesters, assured the House's commitment to a greater Lagos while calling for calm.
I'm here today to appeal to our House, that they should please, in the spirit of one love, that we should drop the process of impeaching Governor Akinwumi. We don't want the political robbers to take over Lagos. We believe in this house. We believe in the strength of this house. Things should be done accordingly. That's all we're doing. Legislators perform the function. Legislators perform the function of lawmaking, oversight, and sundry other issues. And we must make sure that the laws of our part, particularly the grand norm of the country, the constitution, must be upheld. That's why we are elected. At one time or the other, some things will be done that will appear to some people as not being proper because they don't have perfect understanding of it. And when you listen to them, they have their complaints, then you enlighten them. At the end of the day, it's in the overall interest of the people of Lagos State and of course.
The Ogun State ADC governorship candidate Boyega Isiaka raised alarm over an alleged plans by members of the opposition parties in the state to compromise and manipulate process for the March 2nd governorship election in the state. Speaking at a press briefing held at the party's campaign organization secretariat in Abeokuta, the state capital, he also alleged that the opposition parties have concluded plans to unleash thugs to precipitate violence in many polling booths in the state. Isiaka therefore appealed to his supporters to remain calm and challenged security operatives and the INEC officials not to lend themselves to the alleged sinister plot to destabilize the electoral process.
At this junction, I wish to, and on behalf of our party, raise an alarm about the clandestine and well-orchestrated plan by known opposition political parties to manipulate the March 2nd, 2019 gubernatorial election. In the last few weeks, we have been inundated with unimpeachable information and security reports about the grand plot by this element to deliberately compromise that election. They have hatched 4 different rigging plans, one of which we shall highlight here, while the other 3 shall be withheld for exclusive counter-action.
And Yoruba social cultural group, Afenifere, led by Ayo Fasomi, has declared support for the re-election of Muhammadu Buhari, Yemi Osinbajo, and other All Progressives Congress candidates, rising from the Pan-Yoruba Summit held at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan. A cross-section of Yoruba leaders and other speakers, the event declared that the Yoruba race would vote massively for the president come February 16, 2019. More reports.
Rising from the summit, leaders of the group, Senator Ayo Fasomi, Senator B. Durojaye, and others admitted that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has blessed the people of the region in so many ways, hence the need for continuity. Senator Fasomi, in his opening remark, and Senator B. Durojaye, who moved the motion for the adoption of President Muhammadu Buhari and Osinbajo as candidates of the group, vowed to mobilize electorates in the region to vote en masse for the ruling All Progressives Congress.
I, Senator Olabi Durojaye, on behalf of the entire members of our very Ẹgbẹ́ Ìlọsíwájú Yorùbá, move a motion that we, the people of Southwest Nigeria and environs, and all Yoruba everywhere, make male and female, young and old, believers and others, go all out to support and vote for all the candidates of the APC.
In their remarks at the summit, some of the Southwest governors, represented by their deputies, lauded the initiative of the Pan-Yoruba group, adding that all Nigerians must be united and vote for continuity and progress come February 16, 2019.
We are in support of the last speaker. We met with our leader, Asiwaju Tinubu, and all the ministers associated are the decisions of those of us who are supporters of Afenifere, who are supporters of Buhari. We're going to have a true Nigeria, a true federalism, whereby every state will cater for.
All of us from the Southwest are Omoluabis. We have always demonstrated that we are all Omoluabis, especially in the conduct of our elections, particularly the one that we had in 2015 and the one we are going to have come February 16, 2019. For us,
prospects and challenges. Undoubtedly, the clamor for restructuring, especially now, has become more stringent. At the date for the election closes on us, the dominant issue remains restructuring, that the federal government cannot afford to close its ears to see it as a mere noise in the marketplace.
His message is pure true federalism, division of powers, land use, resource control, and that everybody should come out. As you know that there are only 3 elections of governors in Southwest. There are no elections in Ondo, in Osun, and Ekiti. As a result, there's a tendency that there's tendency of low turnout in those areas and by extension in many areas. So, Asiwaju is now appealing to all Yorubas and in all the environments and everywhere to please come out, because it's the only way you can have as tools of negotiation.
The motion for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo was supported by all the state chairmen of Afenifere in the Southwest and people present at the summit. Responding to the gesture, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo disclosed that the present administration premised its agenda on infrastructural development and emancipation of the poor masses, adding that the Buhari government would continue to promote the interests of the Southwest region.
But we are also a part of this federation. We deserve whatever it is that anybody else gets in the federation. And for that reason, we deserve to be at the center, or should be at the center. Today we have the good fortune through the APC of being at the center. We must not take this lightly. It means that we have a strong voice in the federal government, and there are unique advantages. Aside from having the Vice President of the Federation being from this region, we have the Minister of Power, Works and Housing.
Delivering a lecture of restructuring for harmonious and optimal economic development, Senator Olubunmi Adetunbi emphasized the need for the change of the current political power model of states management, while the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo urged the people to seek for proper understanding and meaning of restructuring.
In my view, to achieve the sustainability of the current economic reform, there is need to embark on deliberate constitutional restructuring that gives state governments more powers, more resources, and further independence to enable them create jobs and focus more on human livelihoods. Though we cannot be in denial of people's preferences for their ethnic proclivities, yet we must consciously promote a new narrative that elevates the subject of restructuring from the emotive discourse into the higher realm of logic, common sense, and critical evidence.
I don't think there should be too much argument about the importance of restructuring, especially where it gives deeper fiscal federalism, more control over resources, and autonomy of states, including more control over security through the instrumentality of the state police. In plainer words, we need stronger states. What does the concept of a strong state mean? It means two things. The first is that states must do for themselves. Each of our states must be able to function creatively as independent, administrative, and well-producing economic entities.
A high point of the event was the presentation of motion of re-election to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo by Senator B. Drojaye.
Now, we'll return with more stories. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on
You can get more news and other information on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter, it's CoreTV News NG. Instagram, CoreTV News. YouTube.com/CoreTV News NG. The Anambra State government has berated the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, for endorsing the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. The government said the action of the Apex Socio-Cultural Group was at variance with the general aspiration of Ndigbo, requesting that the group should retract itself in the collective interests of people of the zone.
The government expressed its disappointment with the group, saying that the John Nwodo-led executive of the organization goofed by endorsing the candidate of the political party without due consultation of notable Ndigbo sons and daughters to assert their position on such a topical matter. Speaking with journalists in Awka, the State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Sidon Adinuba, said the Igbo IS Socio-Cultural Group disrespected Nigeria's first president, late Nnamdi Azikiwe, whose mausoleum was constructed by President Muhammadu Buhari and commissioned on that same day.
For Ohanaeze to continue to endorse any candidates, there is no justification why you shouldn't endorse people like Professor Kingsley Mogalo. He's from Anambra State, extremely competent, very knowledgeable, and devoted. Ohanaeze is by definition the apex Igbo socio-cultural organization. You should not dabble into politics. Once you dabble into politics, you have severe problems.
While speaking on the ground that the body had earlier resolved to pitch its tent with a candidate who promises to champion restructuring of the country, Adinuba condemned the action, adding that the group, which ought to be apolitical, was not expected to openly endorse a candidate of any political party. He described the action as a betrayal of the people's trust, which, according to him, may expose the body as being a partisan socio-cultural group with future resolutions may not be taken seriously.
We consider their acts not only an act of sabotage, but an act of sacrilege. On a day the whole country was honoring Zik, the Ohanese leadership decided to fix a meeting of Imobi. We thought the Ohanese officers would have been there leading the ceremony. Zik was the first and only patron of Ohanese. There has never been any other patron. The least we expected from Ohanese officers was to join the rest of the country to pay homage to this great son of Africa.
The state spokesman lamented that the Igbo group deviated from endorsing candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, John Bo. According to him, ABGA is regarded as the party of the Igbos.
As the nation prepares for its general election, the Federation Old Newi Division has called on politicians contesting in the 3 local government areas of the Anambra state that make up the Old Newi to ensure they engage in issues-based campaign and avoid violence in the course of electioneering. More reports are contained here.
The group warned against moves by members of the political class using the younger generation to perpetrate political violence. The stakeholders drafted from Newi North, Newi South, and Ekusiogo local government areas made these submissions at the Maiden Federation of Old Newi Division, urged the political class to avoid violence in election and ensure they campaign based on issues that affects them.
To my address, I said that it is very, very pertinent and important that the town unions and the traditional rulers of the different towns should devise a machinery to kind of counter, especially the vote buying and vote selling. Because what you notice is that candidates nowadays don't even come out to tell us what they're going to do for us. They're more interested in amassing cash, getting ready for the day, the election day. So that the amount that will be spent, the money that will be spent in what I call the vote market. So it is very, very nauseating because people are expected to tell us what they have in stock for us.
Have already formed a committee that is going to look into zoning. When people respect zoning, then people will begin to fight again for what really does not belong to them for that particular time. So the hate speech, what you witness here among the 2 candidates, well, I take it, you can see that they were smiling and hugging, but you know, it's what happens in politics. But we are targeting, making sure that we start from scratch.
Some of the candidates contesting the February 16th and March 2nd elections were given ample time to sell their programs to the people, noting that the people of Old Newi are not ready to entertain violence in the coming general elections.
Even see the debate in the national level. Our party president made the best debate. You see what has happened today. We made the best presentation. We were able to demonstrate what we've been able to impact in the lives of people back home here. And that is what is essential in everybody seeking to represent his people.
The important thing is to look for the best candidate among them. Don't vote because the person is offering you some amount of money or his agents are there to buy your conscience. No, it is wrong. But because I don't belong to this school of thought that says it's because of stomach infrastructure or because of poverty. That's why people go about, selling their votes. That is nonsense.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed an application filed by the suspended Chief of Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen, asking for stay of proceedings on his ongoing trial, the Code of Conduct Tribunal. A three-man panel of the appellate court, led by Justice Abdul Boki, in a ruling relied on Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and says that a say cannot be entertained in a criminal matter. Basil Okafor tells us more.
Battle Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, had approached the Court of Appeal in Abuja seeking for stay of proceedings on his ongoing trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal in the alleged false access declaration charges brought against him by the federal government. In a unanimous decision by a three-man panel of the appellate court, in a ruling delivered by Justice Abdul Aboki, held that Onnoghen's demands that his trial should be put on hold runs contrary to the provisions of Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Justice Aboki, who read the lead ruling, cited the case of Senate President Bukola Saraki, in which Justice Onnoghen himself at the Supreme Court declined to stay Saraki's trial on the same grounds that Sections 306 of the new law did not permit a stay of criminal trials. According to him, there were no special circumstances in which Onnoghen's request would be granted in the appeal argued by his counsel, Wole Olanipekun. In the ruling, the panel aligned with the respondent counsel, saying that the suspended CJN request for stay of proceedings ought to be refused. The court accordingly dismissed the appeal seeking to stop the CCT from taking further steps in the 6-count criminal charges filed against him. Effort made to get the reactions of the counsel in the suit was not successful.
When he comes, he will speak to you. Okay, but just your views on the ruling.
The court has now adjourned till February 4 to hear another Onnoghen's appeal challenging the jurisdiction of CCT to continue with the trial. Basil Okafor, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has filed 4 charges against the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayodele Oke, and his wife, Folashade Oke. EFCC filed 10 counts against Lawal and 5 others, including his company, before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, while it files 4 counts against Oke and his wife before the Federal High Court in Lagos. President Muhammadu Buhari had in October 2017 sacked Lawal and Oke following a report of investigations by a panel headed by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo into allegations of fraud leveled against them. The charges against the duo are coming over 15 months after they were sanctioned by the president. Governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Bagudu, has said the governors are concerned about the welfare of workers, as he was a member of the tripartite committee that represented Northwest states, which approved 27,000 naira as the minimum wage. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for setting up a tripartite committee to solve the issue of the minimum wage and the sourcing of funds.
For the governors at the moment? I think the national minimum wage legislation, or rather the national minimum wage process, is an evolving process. And I was one of the members of tripartite committee that represented the Northwest states, one of 6 governors that represented the different zones. I was also opportune to be at the National Economic Council, National Council of State. Everyone is concerned about the welfare of workers. Certainly, we are all related. We are either children of workers at one time or currently my father was a primary school teacher. I know how we struggle with low levels of income. So everyone is concerned about this. And Mr. President, more particularly President Muhammadu Buhari, we have to commend him for setting up the tripartite agreement to look into the issue of national minimum wage, and to even raise a technical committee to say, well, let us look at where we can find money to ensure that whatever is passed by the National Assembly and assented to by Mr. President, people, units of government will be able to pay, and employers of labor will also be able to cope without shutting down, without all the negative consequences of inflation. So this is an evolving process. We are all concerned and interested in workers' welfare, and we wish we can have more resources. We wish Nigeria can be richer so that our workers will even be wealthier.
Students of tertiary institutions across the country have threatened to disrupt the general elections if the federal government fails to settle the issues with the Academic Staff Union of Universities and end the ongoing ASU strike before the polls. Speaking under the aegis of the National Association of Nigeria Students, the group said it would also mobilize its members to boycott the polls. It stated this on Wednesday during a protest march through the Niger Bridge head in Onitsha, Anambra State. While calling on ASU and the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics to resolve their problems with the federal government, the students said they would disrupt the elections if nothing was done about the strike. In view of the stereotypes that elections in Nigeria are mostly flawed by violent clashes and sometimes loss of lives and property, the National Security Advisor Babagana Manguno has said that security agencies have been working around the clock to ensure that the forthcoming general elections is free of any form of usual after-election violence. He made this known during a strategic meeting with the Nigerian Governors Forum in Abuja. Kikele Mokere has more.
According to the National Security Advisor, there has been reports that some individuals that are uncertain of their fate in the elections are plotting widespread violence. He warns that security agencies will strengthen efforts in dealing appropriately with any acts that can destabilize the nation.
I will refrain from being specific on some of the plots that have been uncovered, though the security agencies will spare no efforts in dealing appropriately with any act that can destabilize the nation and paint us collectively in a bad light among the Committee of States.
Concerned with the spate of proliferation of arms and kidnapping in the country during and after election period, Chairman Nigerian Governors Forum adds that members of the forum will collaborate with the security agencies in the area of intelligence sharing so as to ensure free and fair elections.
We are going to do whatever is possible to ensure that this process of election next month, 16th of February, is free, fair, and credible. And not only that, we came to power as leaders through the ballot box, all of us. So therefore, we don't still go back to box and seek for re-election, and to make sure that the election is free and also commended by the International Committee as they does in 2015.
With election security meeting holding from time to time, it is hopeful that government, through the appropriate institutional tools, will create a suitable environment for a peaceful election. Meanwhile, Babangana stated that no pseudo or quasi-security outfit, such as vigilante or under any guise, is allowed to participate in election security duties. Kikelomo Okeri, CoreTV News.
The police in Ogun State have arrested 3 fraudsters who specialize in duping unsuspecting members of the public through phone calls. The fraudsters were arrested in Ilefe, Osun State, after allegedly collecting a sum of 366,000 naira from one of their victims. Our correspondent tells us more.
Parading the suspect, the State Commissioner of Police, Olafimiyan Adeoye, told journalists that suspects trade their stock in duping unsuspecting members of the public by sending recharge cards to them and afterward claiming that it was wrongly sent and meant for another person. Upon the return of the recharge card, the fraudsters will call back and pretend to be herbalists who are ready to assist the victim to solve spiritual problems as a mark of appreciating the victim for sending the recharge card back to them.
We have even come to believe that very many Nigerians are honest, because when they receive unsolicited recharge card, the tendency is for them to call the sender to find out, and that is the way they get to start communicating with these fellows. The last one they did, they succeeded in collecting about 500,000 naira from their victim. And what they do is tell them that they are babalawos who can see into their future, and that they have one problem or the other that they are in a position to help them in solving. So we want to even use this opportunity to advise people to be mindful of where they go to seek for spiritual help.
The ringleader confessed to the crime just as he acted out how they normally deceive unsuspecting members of the public. He said they are a 5-member gang, 2 of whom are yet to be arrested.
I call people, I say I did the mistake, send card to them. They say they go help me return it. They go help me return it. After them, I go appreciate for them. I go tell them, say, you go feel come to my side. They go say they go come. Don't finish. They come finish. I go talk to Nain go talk, say, Baba, now this is so things I want for your hand. I go talk to them, say, you know, say, now money person will use find money. He go say, yes. Okay, anything why I should make you do, say you ready to spend money, he go say yes. So you go there.
How much have you collected so far?
Now only this money now I don't collect.
Are you the one that will still appear as Baba?
Yes, now me be the Baba, now me be the fire me.
According to the police, the 3 suspects are being processed and will be charged to court. Abbas Okondeji, CoreTV News, Oshobo.
We'll take another break. When we come back, more stories. Stay with us.
Choose the kind of leaders that will give Nigerians hope.
More than 80 million electorates scattered all over the nooks and crannies of the 36 states of Nigeria.
I thank you for staying committed to the change agenda.
CoreTV News targets electorates that will decide who governs Nigeria from next year.
I cannot do it alone. I need your support and I need your participation.
CoreTV News is very popular in the grassroots and it's free to air. You don't need any monthly subscription to receive us. We are confident that running your campaigns on CoreTV News guarantees you much better mileage among the largest population of your target audience. Transmit your campaigns live from anywhere in Nigeria on CoreTV News.
Put the right people in the right places.
Our rates are affordable. Our signals are strong. We're live on channel 74.
Nigeria now, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt says extra time may be needed to finalize legislation for Brexit. Hunt said a possible delay in the UK's departure from the EU beyond the 29 March deadline depended on the progress made in the coming weeks. MPs have voted for Theresa May to seek an alternative arrangement to the Irish backstop after rejecting her Brexit deal earlier this month. But the EU has rejected the UK's calls to renegotiate the withdrawal deal. The UK is due to leave the European Union at 23 hours on the 29th of March. The backstop is an insurance policy to stop the return of checks on goods and people along the Northern Ireland border. Earlier this month, Commons leader Andrea Leadsom said that the EU may be prepared to grant the UK a couple of extra weeks beyond the 29 March deadline to finalize preparations for Brexit. Cities are all but shutting down across the U.S. Midwest as the region shivers in a deadly cold snap known as a polar vortex. At least 8 people have been killed in several cities as a result of the Arctic weather. Temperatures fell to minus 30 degrees Celsius in Chicago, colder than parts of Antarctica, and minus 37 Celsius in North Dakota. Freezing weather will chill 250 million Americans, and 90 million will experience minus 17 Celsius or below. Snow fell throughout Wednesday from the Great Lakes into New England. As much as 24 inches was forecast in the state of Wisconsin and 6 inches in Illinois. States of emergency have been declared in the Midwestern states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Illinois, and even in the former warmer deep south states of Alabama and Mississippi. Finally now, sports. Forward Anthony Marshall has signed a new contract at Manchester United until June 24, with the option to extend for a further year. Now, the 23-year-old, who joined United from Monaco in September 2015 for £36 million, has scored 8 Premier League goals this season. He has been in talks for a while. In June, Martial's agent said his player wanted to leave Old Trafford, and it was known former boss Jose Mourinho was happy to sanction his departure. Martial has started 5 times under Mourinho's successor Solskjaer and has scored after coming on as a substitute in the FA Cup win at Arsenal on Friday. He missed Tuesday night's home draw with Burnley after picking up a slight injury in training, but has managed 10 goals in 25 matches in all competitions this season. The reporter comes up at 7 o'clock later this evening. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Michael Nath.
Choose the kind of leaders that will give Nigerians hope.
More than 80 million electorates scattered all over the nooks and crannies of the 36 states of Nigeria.
I thank you for staying committed to the change agenda.
CoreTV News targets electorates that will decide who governs Nigeria from next year.
I cannot do it alone. I need your support and I need your participation.
CoreTV News is very popular in the grassroots and it's free to air. You don't need any monthly subscription to receive us. We are confident that running your campaigns on CoreTV News guarantees you much better mileage among the largest population of your target audience. Transmit your campaigns live from anywhere in Nigeria on CoreTV News.
Put the right people in the right places.
Our rates are affordable. Our signals are strong. We're live on channel 748 on the digital terrestrial platform in Abuja, Kaduna, Osogbo, Enugu, Jos, Ilorin, Asaba, and free to air in 29 other states of Nigeria. Call 0803-724-9733 or 0803-471-8550 for details. CoreTV News, expanding your view.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will free give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belongs to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change up. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.